Superpowers for good, shaping the fate. Investors and dreamers open the gate. Supercross stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
Welcome, everyone, to the Superpowers for Good show. I'm so excited. Today I've got with us Steve Ramona, who is a show host also on E360 TV, who covers some of the same topics, often engaging changemakers, social entrepreneurs, and nonprofit leaders. And I'm just thrilled to have the opportunity to introduce Steve to you as an audience. Steve, welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you, Devin. I'm excited to be here. I've listened to some of your shows, and they're really, really good.
Well, thank you. You're kind, and I'm just thrilled to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit, if you would, Steve, about your show.
Yeah, it's Together We Serve. It's an offshoot of my podcast, Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. And what we're doing is bringing in thought leaders, experts, but they're experts in the servant heart. They're out there doing good with their business, especially very successful people that have abundance, a lot of income. They're going out and just supporting people in any way they can. Because I truly believe when you have a servant's heart in your business, that you will grow. Hard to retain in your mindset because you don't see it tangibly, because you don't know how or when or where that service is going to really grow your business. But I've proven that in the last year that it can. And it's such a fun way to do business.
Yeah, I think, I don't want to be too bold, but I like to think I seek to have that servant's heart, to approach that my work with that philosophy in mind. I strive to do that. What drew you to this work, Steve? What's the draw?
I've been serving or a service mindset probably for the last 15 years, building a network, bringing value to people. I've brought millions of dollars to people and never really asked, but I saw the power of every project that I came to, that I started or was involved. I brought my network with that by building that servant heart and mindset and building relationships, and then bringing those relationships right to the next opportunity. And if you're out there listening, what a great way to start a business, start a nonprofit, to do good, is to share that with this network that you've been building for 5, 10, 15. In my case, it's been 30 years. Way back when I was 18, 19, working in the health club industry. My family started a health club and I worked at the front desk, and I started building relationships with extremely successful people. And Devin, the power of that is so incredible. I learned so much, but not only was I getting, I was receiving as well. Giving, by remembering them. Have a great day. How was your vacation? See, a servant's heart can come in many forms. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's an introduction, but maybe it's just a kind word, or maybe just a thought of support. That's the power of this, and it can do so much for your business and your life. It's just got to be practiced. It's got to be in your mindset. What I do, and I mentor business owners and entrepreneurs, is have that law of increase from Think and Grow Rich. Bring value to every conversation you have. If you do that, and don't worry about the impact of that value. I always use this analogy. I go to church and I see this beautiful bow on a baby, and I walk up to the mother and, oh, that's such a beautiful bow. It makes your baby shine. That's a servant's heart. You've changed that person's world for a little bit and brought some positivity there. The power of that is a superpower, Devin.
Yeah. Let's talk through this a little bit more. I want to go just a bit deeper, because when you talk about doing business with a servant's heart, it's so difficult. And you live there in Silicon Valley, and I'm going to argue that although a lot of people in Silicon Valley would espouse these views, right? The premise of Silicon Valley in many ways is to create value so that people will give you money. I would argue that I see some cynicism in that rather than authenticity. And I think it's sometimes hard for people in Silicon Valley to actually embrace the mindset you're talking about. How would you coach a Silicon Valley CEO to really discover and adopt that servant's heart approach to business?
Great question, Devin. It's a microwave society. We were just talking before the show about you go out to dinner, everybody's on their cell phones and they're not talking, they're not building those relationships, whatever they may be. When I tell a CEO, wash everything that you're doing, put it on the side for a little bit. Your goal this next month is to serve your employees, from your janitor all the way up to your CFO, to your vice president, and across the board. Serve your customers. Be engaged with them as much as you can. I know some businesses they can't. Be engaged with your competitors. Serve them. I know it's strange, but I've talked to many CEOs I've worked with that do something similar to another company, but they can't help that person. What do? They go, hey, go talk to this company. Well, they're your competitor. So they're not our competitor. We collaborate. If I can't help you and bring you value, I found somebody else that can bring you value and help you and support you. What did that company do? They served them. People go, you're right, Devin. I go, well, I just lost money. No, you didn't. You built currency in the universe. And I'm getting a little woo-woo here, but the universe does change. And some of you listeners are shaking their head up and down. I've seen it. I helped this person and got a call. And I'll tell you an example for me. I got a call 8 weeks ago from a billionaire. Never had that in my life. He saw my podcast, saw my TV show, and he said, hey, I want to talk to you more about working with you. Now, I've been serving people for many years. That was part of the reward, and I don't know if that's the right word, but the superpower of all that servant heart activity that I did, and I take action, is that guy gave me a call because the universe said, hey, let's send this guy some good things. And it's hard because it's not tangible. It's not touchable. You can't feel it. It's unintangible or untangible, whatever that word is. I'm not an English major. That's the problem. This shiny object, it's too good to be true. Let me tell you, me sitting here today on May 21st, 2024, I had my best year ever last year, and this is going to be even bigger. And I'm so happy because it's a win-win. I give a free workshop for podcasts every month. And people go, why do you do that? Because I want to get back. I've learned so much. I've grown so much. What I've learned, I want to share with the world. But what about people taking your IP, your intelligence and what you've learned? Take it away. They're going to eventually need me because I am the thought leader expert, like a lot of you out there. So never worry about giving out your intellectual property. Get it out there. Share it with people. Help people with it. Hey, if they don't come back, it's going to come from somewhere else, Devin.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think it is. It's hard. It's hard for people that don't have the native instinct to approach business this way. And yet I think I've seen some, tech entrepreneurs really live it, just as you describe it, right? Mentoring, less advanced entrepreneurs, guiding them through, investing in their businesses, supporting them. You see some of that really with the genuine servant's heart going on, even in the tech economy. So it certainly does happen. And it's exciting to think about how you are modeling that. Steve, as you think about the work that you're doing, what are some of the things that you're most proud of having accomplished in your career?
Loaded question with a lot of great answers. I'm going to tell you something that grab your Kleenex because you might tear up and I might get emotional, but I've really seen the power of serving, and it was through introduction. I had sent 3 referrals to a lady for her business. I won't say her name, but it was just very, it's what I do every day. I pretty much do referrals every day, and I receive referrals every day. Well, 6 weeks go by, and she finally answered those email referrals. And I'm like, if you're going to get a referral, make sure you do those within 48 hours is kind of my code, because the energy's there. And they go, oh my God, Steve introduced us. But she had a reason. She had the 2 disabled kids who had medical issues. And she put it up front with the 3 people and answered them. But then 5-10 minutes later, I get an email from her. I am speechless, Steve, LOL, but I'm typing this. And basically the email said was, you sent me those 3 people to help grow my business. I thought I could impact them, but their impact for me was more than you could imagine. What happened was they gave her opportunities to raise money that she was struggling with because of the medical bill she was getting from her 2 kids. I believe they're twins. So you never know when you're serving somebody what the end result will be. And I save that email, I read it once a week, and take action. Take action with a servant's heart, because you never know, you might get that email as well that you literally change somebody's life for the good.
Wow. I think it's so powerful to think about the potential impacts we can have when we lean into that. I really appreciate you sharing that example, because it is powerful. Thank you very, very much. Steve, if you were to give a sales pitch for the services you provide to people outside of your shows, what would that pitch sound like?
I'm here to bring you value to anytime you have a pain point. You need something. I'll give you an example. I'm a partner with a company that helps you pitch speaking gigs and podcasts. Somebody comes to me, hey, I want to speak more. I want to be on stage more. Here, let me share this link with you. I think it would be a great fit. I think it's a service that would help you a lot. Check it out. If you have any questions, reach out to me. So I pitched with a servant's heart by sharing with them, hey, you need, instead of saying this, hey, you need to have this. You're crazy if you don't use this service. That I think it's a fit from what you've told me. This is something that I think would benefit you and help you do what your goal is. And that, in this case, it'd be more speaking gigs or be on more podcasts and TV shows. You bring your, and I don't like the word pitch, but your sales mentality to, how can I bring value to them? Not, hey, I'm going to pitch you because I'm going to change your life and make you a millionaire in 2 weeks. One, is it true? And 2, is that really what people want? People want to solve their problems or grow themselves. To be able to do that, you need to bring value and, highlight that value. Here's why I think you do it. Do people do it all? Absolutely not. Some people will and some people don't. But I'm very comfortable in knowing I'm bringing value. I'm not selling them. In essence, I am, but I'm selling them with value, not with transactional. And I'll use this phrase, Devin, I use for everybody. Be transformational, not transactional. If you remember that, write that down. Whatever you need to do, if you remember that phrase, your sales will go very well.
Yeah. As we wrap up the first half of our conversation, I want to ask you for one last bit of advice. I think, entrepreneurs, regardless of what they're doing, but many of those who are listening are interested in raising capital. How would you coach people to be better networkers? It's such an essential step for success. How would you coach people to do that? You describe yourself as a super connector.
That's a great question. It's super simple. A lot of supers there. Superpowers for good, super connector. I love this show. But here's what you do. Shut up and listen. Yeah, I'm saying that. Shut up and listen when you meet people and learn how you can bring value to them. So when I jump in, I had 3 meetings this morning. The first thing I do is tell me a little about you, tell me a little about what you do, and then I shut up and I listen for as long as they talk and figure out how I could bring value with the introduction, a resource, a tip, whatever that may be. You do that, you're going to build a relationship. And I'm not a big fan of talking about myself, but I'm going to do it right now. I get 3 to 10 referrals a day. Audience, I want you to think about that, how much you will change if you got 3 to 10 referrals a day. If you got 2 referrals a day, 10 a week. That's what building relationships do, because people will go, hey, you need to meet Steve. Oh my God, he did this, and he's connected here. You just need to meet with them. To me, that's the best sales tool in the world.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. Fantastic advice. Well, listen, everybody, I'm here with Steve Ramona, who is, among other things, a television show host here on the E360 TV network. I'm thrilled to have had the opportunity to introduce you to him. When we come back, we'll be talking about his superpower. You don't want to miss this, so stick around.
You can get in on the ground floor to help fix the climate crisis for as little as $100. Pause now to scan the QR code to get started or visit s4g.biz/raisegreen. You can be a green at Raise Green. Join us at Supercrowd Chicago with community-focused business leaders and investors working to support diverse founders, social entrepreneurs, and community builders. Learn how to raise money from the crowd and invest like a pro on June 12th at Columbia College Chicago. Register now at thesupercrowd.com. Hope to raise money from the impact crowd. Good investors are as interested in community, social or environmental impact as you. Connect with Funding Hope, an SEC-registered FINRA member crowdfunding portal to learn how to raise capital from the impact crowd. Scan the QR code now.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with Steve Ramona, who is a show host here on the E360 TV network. And he, like me, shares a passion for finding people and helping them to do more good in the world. Steve, welcome back to the show. We're thrilled to have you today. You know, you have done some truly incredible things. You're just a great human being and a successful business leader and show host. I wonder, Steve, if you would just take a minute and tell us what is your superpower?
I've talked about it, being a connector. The law of increase, the value is we're all human. We all have needs. We all have pain points. My superpower is to connect people with people. I say we're in the people asset business. I'm a superpower of that. I'm a superpower with people. I just have a way with people to connect them, to make it look good, to bring excitement to them, to bring value to them, to bring rewards to them. I'm excited when I get a much more abundance and my life changes where I've got so much money that I can expand this, I call it ministry or movement forward, to be able to connect with people and be able to do things that allow me to superpower. And you know what? Now, I know Superman doesn't do this. Maybe he does, but he can't pass the superpowers on. My superpower is passing my superpower on. What I do as a super connector, Devin can do, you, the audience, can do. Imagine that. And again, I've said this a number of times. It's so much fun jumping in meetings and be able to go and bring value back and forth. It's not a one-way street. It's going both ways. And you get off that call and somebody goes to you, Steve, that's one of the best calls I've ever had. I've never made a sale.
Yeah, that's amazing. I just love that superpower. Can you think of a specific example? You shared one earlier, the 3 referrals you made to the woman. I wonder if you would share another example that was kind of a high impact connection that you made that you were proud of having made.
Well, this is back when I was 18. This actually happened to me. I love this story because it really is the catalyst of what I am today. Imagine I'm working at our family's health club and I'm working the front desk. That's where I started. And I'm checking people in and building relationships. And some of these people are multimillionaires, done very well in their life. And, hey, have a great workout. Hey, have a great day. Enjoy your vacation, because you see them 2 or 3 times a week. You naturally build a relationship. Well, one time, Tony, the financial advisor, comes in and throws me a book. It's called The Wealthy Barber. Keep in mind, this is 1979, 80. So it's, 44 years ago, guy. I'm an old guy. And he says, Steve, read this book. And next week, I'm going to ask you about it. And I did. It was 40, 50 pages small. It's still out on Amazon. Great book. So next week, Tony comes in and goes, hey, kid, did you read the book? The little Italian guy. I said, yeah, I did. He said, you want me to save 10% of my income, from every check I get? You got it, kid. Make sure you never touch it. Just let it go. And he just, he laughed. 10 years later, I never really looked at the account. Once in a while I would peek. It had $68,000 in it, or over 60. I think it was 68. Doesn't matter. And I was blown away. So that's 10 years later. So that's 1990. That was a lot of money. I'm 28, 30 years old. I got this money. I called Tony and I said, Tony, so thank you for that advice. I got 68,000. Let me pay you $1,000. Kid, you don't need to pay me. I said, well, you're a fight. He said, I'm retired now. So I don't take payments anymore. But you know what? When you took the book and read it and followed my advice, my universe changed. I'm sure some of my income that I made was because you listened to me. And that's that law of increase without asking for payment. And once I learned that, I started building a network naturally because it's 40 years later, I'm still thinking about that story.
That's what a great example. What a great example. I think it's profound to think about the impact we have on people. It's easy for us. I know I tend to do it. Oh, it didn't matter. It wasn't that helpful. No big deal. And yet you can see how, when you think about it, some of the people that we've met in our lives, like I think of some of the people I've come to know in the last decade. Someone introduced me and it's changed my life, right? And I need to reshape my thinking about the value of those introductions. Not all of them are a home run, but some of these are life-changing. So tell us, Steve, how can we be better at connecting people? What are some of your tips for making more effective connections?
Practice the servant mentality. I actually wrote a journal that you can buy on Amazon. You don't need it. But I suggest, and I give this suggestion to everybody I work with, on Monday or whatever day you would start, Monday's usually good, the start of the week, and I want you to track every time you serve somebody. You help that lady take the can off the grocery store. You might have called your best friend you haven't talked to in a while and told him something really good. You might have given a couple referrals. Maybe you gave somebody a tip on LinkedIn or whatever that is, but track it like a gratitude journal. And now it's a serving journal. Here's the power of this. At the end of the week, reason why I want you to write down, you can summarize and look over and go, oh yeah, I helped him. And how did they feel? Oh, they felt great. So on Friday or Saturday, I want you to do 3 things. How did they feel? Summarize that. It's probably going to be positive. 2, how did you feel every time you did that servant action? And then the third thing is, and the most important thing to me is, how did your week change? What happened during your week? Maybe you met somebody new. Maybe a check came in, a contract got signed. Something will happen. It might be minor, it might be major, but you're going to think back. And we're a human, so we kind of have to have that ROI. And that's a way to track your success with servant by writing it down and see how your life's changed. Again, it may not be financial, it may not be income, but if you help somebody walk up some stairs, open the door, help them out the door, and we all did this is the superpowers for good that we're talking about here, how much would the world change? Change your world first, and then we'll worry about the bigger world later.
Yeah, great point. Steve, as we think about wrapping up now, I want you to just see, if you would, just take a minute and tell us how people can learn more about you, how they can watch your show, listen to your podcast, how they can, if they want to be a guest on the show, how they reach out, if they need your help and want to hire you as a coach or a consultant, what does that look like? Walk us through kind of the sales here.
LinkedIn, Steve Ramona, SteveRamona, like Ramona the Pest. I used to get teased all the time. So you remember that last name, Steve Ramona. You can find me on LinkedIn. My email is stevr1961@gmail.com. My office number and my texting number is 408-642-6288. You can reach out to me there. I do some free business education. I do some podcast hosting education for free for people. The other way, my podcast is Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Now, my TV show, I'm going to ask a favor. Please watch Devin's show first, and then you can watch mine second. But mine's together. We serve on E360 TV as well. See what I did there, audience? I served the host, and then I took care of myself. And I didn't do that. I did that on the top of my head. Me telling you that I did that was the second fact. This is in a little ways of giving good. the superpowers for good that you can do. That is it going to change Devin's life? Maybe, maybe not, but it's going to help Devin and it's going to help me because everybody remembers those two things.
Yeah, fantastic. Steve, you're the greatest. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. We're thrilled to have had you. We want to wish you every success in the great work that you're doing.
Thank you very much, Devin. It was awesome.
All righty, let's do some good.